welcome everybody to, I think this is episode 10 of episode 10 of the Roll of the Dice podcast.
These double figures.
We finally did it. We got there. Welcome to summertime Roll of the Dice, where it is so hot
Here in England, for a change.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. How you been, Ben?
Been alright. Other than not being able to cope with the sun because being English and the heat. But it has been nice to have a change from grey and drizzle.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what we had for the back end of last week.
Yeah. But it is really nice to see people getting their summer on. With questionably advised barbecues and gatherings in the park and stuff.
Yeah, it's all very
but we won't tell if you don't.
Yeah, very much so. Have you had any interactions with the outside world, or are you guys still sort of in your own little space?
We're going out for walks a lot more. Every now and then we're going to the local village to go up and down the high street.
Fair enough.
And see what's open and see what other people are doing.
For sure.
There's this, I think it's a pub or a cafe, not quite sure, that's doing door service. They've moved the bar to the door and serving from there.
Right.
Which is quite cool, and you can see a long line going down the road. Because as I think it's the only place that's doing it, and with the heat they're going to make a good buck in the heat selling all the beautiful fruity beers and things.
Yeah, you'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's cool. I've been attending a few barbecues recently. I had one on Friday at my one of my family members' houses, who lives kind of nearby to where I am. And I hadn't seen a bunch of them in a while, so that was really nice.
Yeah, it's going to get to the time where we can finally see family again.
Yeah.
With restrictions and what's it called? Bubbling going on? You can
shielding.
No, I thought there's a separate thing called bubbling that you can now visit another household freely.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I could be wrong. I did get a letter from it, but I've not looked at it yet.
Good. There was announced earlier today that their restrictions will be being lessened come the 4th of July, so...
Yeah. Shops would be more open, it would be a bit more, air quotes, normal.
We could be reopened by the end of July, apparently.
It could be. Although whether that's scientifically sound is another question.
Yeah, well, since when have we followed anything scientifically sound throughout this whole thing?
No, I think we followed it for a week, and then the politicians went, we know better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because as they're famous for saying, we're sick of experts.
Well, either way. Anyway, shall we get on with the show?
We shall do indeed.
Two big things in the world of gaming, and I'm sure, unless you've been living under a rock, everyone's been aware of the launch or the release of The Last of Us 2. I read an infographic, I think it was last night. Apparently, it's the fastest selling game to X amount of copies for PlayStation ever.
Yeah, it beat Uncharted 4 by 1%, I think.
That's nuts. I mean,
such a fine margin.
Yeah, that's crazy. Also, I mean, there have been, to be fair to PlayStation, they have been on a run of form over the last couple weeks. The announcement of the PlayStation 5 and its reveal. I don't know. Did you get a look at it?
Yeah, I looked at it, and it, as every meme is saying now, it looks like a white internet router.
Yep, it sure does. But I mean, with the announcement of some of the games being released with it, I am pretty excited for it. Notwithstanding Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
Yes.
Gonna so excited for that.
Yeah.
I also heard, although I'll probably touch on this a little bit later when we get into gaming rumors, that there is another big AAA title in the works of announcement over here in the next couple of weeks, I would have thought. But we'll get to that in a minute. Now, I wanted to talk about just PlayStation's run of form. They announced a couple days ago Crash Bandicoot 4.
Oh, yes.
Coming out.
It's about time.
Yes, it's like, is it October, November it comes out?
Was it Crash Bandicoot 4?
Yeah.
Bandicoot 4. 29th of October. No, that's the Wrath of Cortex, Ben. I was about to say 29th of October 2001. It will come out. Crash Bandicoot 4 is about time. October 2nd.
Oh, there you go. Which is
fairly close.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often that you get game announcements for the same year.
Yeah. Although I remember Fallout 4 did that.
Oh, Bethesda did is like at E3, and then right at the end it was like coming September or October, and it's like,
yeah, it was like
wait,
a
that's
month
in like
later.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
And the amount of hype just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
I was like, that's how you do it.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that because I'm a long time Crash Bandicoot fan. Like I've played every game I think that's ever been.
I think I've played the first couple. The last Crash Bandicoot thing I played was their racing game around
the
KTs.
remastered Crash Team Racing?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Crash Team Racing, yeah.
Yeah. Which is really good.
It is good. They've got their own good spin on that kind of the racing genre.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through some of the release screenshots for Crash 4, and it looks like they're really returning to their sort of platformer roots, which I am a big fan of.
Yeah.
Big fan.
There's something simple and nice about just a simple platformer game.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
What else was announced to go with the PS5? Because there was Horizon Zero Dawn 2. There's the Spider-Man. There's another Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah. Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Oh, that'll be good.
That's going to be so good.
Yeah. Just the lighting and all the screenshots and trailer little videos that I've seen are just absolutely like super out of this world, like almost cyberpunky in a way.
Yeah.
With the pink and blue.
Speaking of cyberpunk, I read a thing a couple days ago that Cyberpunk 2077 will be backwards compatible. So if you buy your PS4 copy, you'll be able to play it on the PS5.
Ah, that's cool. That's how they should do that, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
If you buy a game with on one platform, say the PlayStation range, you should have it across the entire range of consoles that they do.
I think that's especially true if they're launching games so near to the launch of a new console.
Yeah,
like, it's
true.
Absolute. Maybe not for all PS4 games. Like if they're PS4 games that came out 5 years ago or whatever. Maybe not necessarily those, because those might be, in the future remasterable titles. But if you're releasing Cyberpunk, which has been delayed again till November, and the PS5 comes out, was it March next year or something? May, something like that?
I thought it was over the holiday period this...
oh, yeah, that makes sense. But that's even closer. So if you've got a game coming out that close to the launch of your next console, it should absolutely be backwards compatible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't want to sink your money into a game to then have it come out on the next gen and you feel fallen behind.
Yeah. Oh, Xbox announced Skate 4. Did you see that?
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
I want it in my face.
Also, following on skateboard things, they're remastering, is it Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2?
I think it's 1 and 2.
Yeah,
I
but
think it's a
like
2-in-1 deal.
yeah, but there's a lot of skateboard games coming out. But I'm a big fan of oh, okay, here is the the 8 announced games for the PS5. Sorry, I finally found the thing that I was looking for. Horizon 2, Forbidden West, Demon's Souls. I'm not
Oh,
really
okay.
sure. Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a new Ratchet and Clank game. Gran Turismo 7, Godfall, which is one of the launch titles that comes out with the PS4 over the holidays. I'm not really sure what it's about, but you can look it up. Project Athia, which I believe is their partnership with Riot Games, I think.
oh,
I could be wrong. And Returnal, which is a game that I've never heard of. But those are the 8, like, not necessarily launch titles, but like the 8 titles that have been announced for the PS5.
okay.
Last of Us 2 is going to be backwards compatible for the PS5 as well.
I wonder how many of these, like the independent launch titles, will be forgotten in a year's time. Because, like, do you remember when the PS4 first released? There was a game called Killzone Shadowfall.
Oh yeah,
That was a release title that's died. I remember seeing a thing that they've shut down the servers for it now.
really?
But
Damn.
to think about it, think of how long ago the PS4 came out. It was like a good, I want to say 5 years ago. Or is it longer? It might
I
be
think
longer.
it's longer. I think it's like 7. No, 2013. Yeah, 7 years. 15th of November, 2013 was the PS4. So 7 years since. Well, jeez, the PS3 came out in 2006. And the PlayStation 2 came out in 2000. Dang, son.
Oh, I still have my PlayStation 2 somewhere.
So do I. It's in a box in my mum's house somewhere.
It's now a relic.
Absolutely. But the PS2 had some absolutely S tier games.
Yeah.
You know what was one of my favorite games? Is Tony Hawk Underground.
Oh yes.
I played that game so often. I got
That's
real good at it. I loved this, especially Tony Hawk's Underground 2. You know, when you were split up into like 2 teams and you had to like cause as much chaos
Like,
as possible.
yeah.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I love those games. But I'm very excited for the remastered Pro Skater 2.
Yeah. As
And
much
one.
as I like them for nostalgia, I think I prefer the Skate series because they like the controls feel more like natural
Yeah,
to
for sure.
skating.
For sure. But yeah, the other big video game thing I wanted to talk about was the Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC, which I believe comes out or is already out. I think it might already be out. Actually, let me just double check.
What's it called? It's Crown Tundra. Is that it?
That sounds right. June 17th. Yeah, so it's out for just over a week now. Or no, just in exactly a week. It's
June.
yeah,
Isn't it June already?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's been out for a week.
Oh right, yes. Sorry. Yep,
yeah.
I'm there. I'm with you.
Yep. Yeah, June 17th. Expansion pass. Yeah. So that's been out for a week, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. I've heard it's actually like a really good DLC.
That's good.
Yeah. And a lot of the problems that Nintendo like came up against, or like the backlash they received when they announced that they were doing DLC, have sort of, a lot of it has been like disproven, and a lot of it has been sort of like a lot of that been silenced. That sort of
Has been answered, and
yeah.
they listened
The big thing was like, why wasn't this just shipped with the game? Why are they gatekeeping all these Pokemon? You know, all of that kind of stuff. And a lot of that has been like dealt with, essentially.
yeah. Well, you kind of had that anyway, because you had version-specific Pokemon anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the
But
big thing is that a lot of people are like, oh, we can't get these Pokemon because we're not getting the DLC. That's not true. You can trade with someone who has the DLC for those Pokemon, even if you
yeah,
don't have it. So, like, a lot of that stuff is kind of like been, what's the
been
word?
answered.
Been answered, been dealt with, yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
it's the first time that that Nintendo has done quotes DLC for its games,
yeah, exactly.
and I think
And
that kind of terminology has been tainted by other games that do have this absolute paywall.
yeah, exactly.
But since they've answered that really really well, then it should be nothing but like a bonus for the Pokemon fans.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. So I was just quickly checking on that Project Athia because I thought it was it's not the project they're working on in with Riot, but it is Square Enix's next big project.
Okay.
But it is apparently, from what I'm reading here, Square Enix's first new, what are they called?
IP.
IP. Thank you. Their first
Yeah.
IP in a while. Project Athia is also a working title, so that will probably be their next big RPG. I would have thought.
Yeah.
Square Enix is, yeah, probably. I wouldn't say it'll be an. Apparently, it is an IP, so it won't be anything in the lines of Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts or those other big IPs that they own. Apparently, it's its own thing, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie, it looks absolutely incredible. Like just from a few, like
Like screenshots
screenshots
looking
and
at
like
the
just
landscapes.
just like the front page, like yeah, just the front page, like it's just a picture of a girl standing on top of a hill looking out into a valley, like with clouds like all in the valley with like a few what appears to be like spiky rocks sticking out of it,
Yeah.
and it looks absolutely stunning.
It kind of looks a little Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster Hunter, like Horizon Zero Dawn esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're playing Horizon, aren't you? Currently.
Yeah. I'm trying to get through it. I've not progressed any further for a while. Um, but yeah, I'm like I want to say like a quarter of the way through.
Nice. I need to come visit you so I can just sit on your couch and make you play these games.
Yeah.
And just be like, no, stop getting distracted, play.
Yeah, that's the thing. I need to be like locked into a seat and
Yeah,
like matchsticks put in my eyes and keep looking, keep watching, keep playing.
yeah. Here, I'm going to attach this IV drip of Dr. Pepper. You play video games. I'll open the valve, the tap for your your IV every now and then. I'll just retrofit like one of the arms you have on your desk to feed you Doritos every now and then. Yeah.
Yeah, inject powdered Dorito dust.
Yeah, literally. So there have been just a ton of announcements for games recently. A lot of things to look forward to. However, let's move on to a few gaming rumors, things that haven't been announced, but are apparently in the works. The big one, or the biggest one for me anyway, and this will come as no surprise to you, Ben, is God of War 2.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So there's a big rumor that one of the launch titles for PS5 that they haven't announced yet, but because they're going to release it with the PlayStation All Access thing. It's like PlayStation's version of E3. Is God of War 2. Because of a lot of like rumors that the studio has been very active recently, and how the studio has been bringing in all these consultants from other mythologies, and like all of the stuff, right, has been going on for a while now. And then when the PS5 was launched, there was like people who were at the PS5 like thing who were not allowed to talk about certain stuff. So it's all sort of fueling these rumors that God of War 2 is going to be like one of the big launch titles for the PS5,
Yeah.
which to me makes a ton of sense because of the way God of War ended. It left it open for a sequel, and also like I follow a lot of the gaming creators for like The Last of Us 2, God of War, like on Twitter, and there's been a lot of interactions between them recently. And Cory Balog, who is the director for God of War series, has been he's kind of been trolling people on Twitter recently about like announcements for God of War 2. And whenever they do that, it's usually because there is an announcement coming soon.
Okay.
Yeah, like I've been following it like pretty closely, and so I suspect, along with a lot of other people, that God of War 2 is going to be one of the probably won't come out at launch for the PS5 because that's in December, but maybe sometime next year is what a lot of people are saying. Maybe early next year, sort of February, March time.
Yeah.
Because obviously the last game came out 2018. If they've been working on the sequel like non-stop, that's 3 years. They could probably do it.
Yeah, I remember seeing tweets of some of the motion capture artists way back in January.
Yeah, exactly. So
saying like good to be back in the suit,
yeah,
which is definitely like trying to generate hype and like sew in like mysterious. Oh, what are we doing here? But it's definitely going to be. It's got to live up to the hype of the first game way back in 2018.
Yeah. So a lot of like websites like IGN, Tech Radar, like all of those kind of like rumor sites are all like buzzing right now. They're all like this is gonna happen.
Yeah, it's like keep your eyes on these guys.
Yeah. So just from reading stuff, like it is most likely not going to be launched with the console. It'll be launched either sometime next year, or because of just how gaming works, maybe 2022.
Yeah.
As like a big title. But yeah, like I think it's almost certain that there will be a God of War 2 sequel game to the 2018 game, which I am very excited for because I freaking loved the first one. I've actually been watching a really popular streamer like play it he's never played it before, play it for the first time, and it's just like, oh, nostalgia.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the main stuff I have to talk about. Anything you wanna touch on? Any gaming stuff that you've been keeping your ear to the ground for?
Not really. Other than the PS5 announcement and exclusives, and I did want to talk about The Last of Us Part 2 and like your thoughts, but if you don't want to talk about it until you've
I feel like if we're gonna do that, that would like be a lot of me talking because like I'm playing it and you're currently not, but I don't want to talk about it until I've finished it. And I don't know how
the whole picture.
Exactly. So if we're going to do that, I'd rather do that like as a set thing instead of like touching on it now and then coming back to it later. If that makes sense. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Do
so
it as one lump bit.
Exactly. But I will say this: it's very good. It's been weird. Like I've been seeing a lot of people talk about how much they haven't enjoyed it, how disappointed they are by it. And it's really strange to me because I'm playing through it and I'm freaking loving it. So maybe it's something with the ending that they don't like. I've avoided spoilers somehow. But
Or maybe they're being overly critical because of like the hype that comes with a Naughty Dog game and the fact that it's the Last of Us sequel as well. Maybe
maybe,
the bar is maybe a bit too high for them, maybe in particular.
maybe. But I think it's strange because I've also seen people online saying that it's the best game they've ever played. It's an absolute masterpiece. So it's not like people are saying this is a good game, this is a bad game. This is like genuinely splitting people down the middle. Like, this is awful, this is the best game I've ever played. Like, it's really dividing opinion, which is good, I think, because it gives it more substance to talk about, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna hold off until I have finished playing it for the first time, because I definitely will play it again. Until then, I think I'm probably not going to talk about it that much, because I think that would be really good content and like a lot. That would be like a long piece to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. The gaming stuff. I've been watching my housemate play a game. Okay. Okay. Bit of context. On PlayStation, there is a game called Maneater, where
Oh yeah.
you play as a shark, right? And you do quests and you upgrade yourself and you get like all of these like fantastical abilities as a shark, and you grow in size and stature and like notoriety as you play through the game. And you do all this wacky shit, like you go up onto boats and you like eat tourists, and like you like break through barriers with your head to get to like hidden areas to unlock power-ups, and all of this all of this dumb shit. All the while you're like, you get like all of these like electro shot, like, you know, when you hear stories or like you watch like super villains that have like a laser powered shark and like all of this dumb shit like that, you get all of those kind of powers. It's like kind of comedy horror, basically, is like the best way I can describe it.
It's
And
like comic gore.
yeah,
Of.
it's super funny.
Yeah.
And watching my housemate play through it, and it's just been like, I would literally just sit there like absolutely absorbed by this game, because it's such a dumb concept, because you can eat pretty much anything.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely like captivating, but
Yeah.
not because it's necessarily a good game. It's just like it just looks really fun.
Yeah, it's one of those games that, like, it starts off with an initially like cool and weird concept, but then it's like you can't get any more weirder than this. Oh wait, it has done. I've now got like a laser beam on my head,
Yeah,
and then it can't get any worse than this. Oh cool, there's like shark hunters after me with their own like theme music.
yeah, and they have like electro nets trying to capture. Oh my god, it's a whole thing. It's a good laugh. Like, if you're looking
Yeah,
to play something really like light-hearted and not very difficult, I'd say play that. And my housemate has just been absolutely loving it. He actually platinumed the game on PlayStation. Yeah,
wow.
he's like, I want to play more, but there's nothing left for me to do. There's no new game plus function, unfortunately.
Ah,
Yeah, but it has been an absolute riot watching him play this game.
yeah. I don't think I've ever platinumed a game.
I have a couple times. I platinumed. What games did I platinum? Horizon Zero Dawn. Um, couldn't platinum God of War because I could never beat the final Valkyrie. Because she's super super duper hard. Um, and there's one other game that I platinumed, but I can't remember what it was. Nope, can't think of it. But Horizon Zero Dawn is one of the games that I platinumed.
I remember way back when in Halo 3, I remember trying to do a bunch of like I say platinuming.
Achievements.
Yeah,
Yeah.
achievement getting.
I think
But I don't think I did.
there were a few games that I got like all the achievements for on Xbox 360 at the very least.
Yeah. Like that was back in the time when you had to um like hard grind and hard do those
Yeah,
challenges to get like bits of armor and stuff.
yeah. Some of the online challenges were like insanely difficult. Like I remember some of the ones were like you had to get it in the free for all playlist, and you had to get things like killing frenzies and like vehicular manslaughter, which is like 5 vehicle kills, and like all of this stuff. And in free for all, that's a lot harder because you don't have necessarily
Yeah, you don't have like
any
a team or
backup.
like
Yeah, exactly. So it was so much harder. There are like a few achievements that on from Halo 3 to this day that I've just never managed to get because, like, I mean, for one thing, no one really plays Halo 3 online anymore,
no.
which is a shame and a travesty because that game is still awesome.
Yeah, it's not part of the Master Chief Collection now.
It is, but I mean, this it's still like the sort of more remastered style of the online, which isn't as good in my opinion. Meh. It's still good, but like it's not. It doesn't have that same level of influence, I guess, like it did back in like 2007, the summer of 2007. My brother and I played that game every day for like 15 hours a day. That's all we did.
Oh, what a
And
time to be alive.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I suppose technology has moved on as well. With like today's era of gaming, like you've got
Yeah.
like crossplay, and you can plug keyboard and mouse into consoles and play that
Vice
way.
and vice versa, consoles and computers.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, but going back then, like it was a lot harder to be what's the word? It was a lot harder to sort of be cooperative and like game with your friends and stuff because online was still a bit janky compared to now where everything is so accessible. Like you can jump on PlayStation with your friends, no problem. But like, do you remember party issues back on the
yeah,
Xbox 360? Oh, it was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare trying to get a party together because like the servers weren't like purpose built for that. So if you got like too big, it would like shit itself, and like games couldn't really support it, and it was just a problem. But nowadays, I mean, you can have X amount of people in a PlayStation party playing 6 different games all at once, no problem.
yeah. That's a thing Ubisoft need to fix because they're
Yeah,
notorious for that.
yeah, exactly.
Like I was playing. Was it last night? I was playing Siege last night,
Yeah,
and for some reason wasn't able to connect to like the map, so I'd stuck the whole like lobby in like a loading screen, and I'd the character I'd picked was called Mute, who like jams electronics, and one of the comments in the chat was, "Oh shit, this guy's muted the entire server."
yeah. I love shit like that. Like I've been obviously, I play a lot of League, and the League client is notorious for being bad.
Yeah,
Like crashes and disconnects and like random stuff. To be fair to Riot, they have one of the highest player bases of any game online
yeah.
in the world. So
But surely, as the highest player base in the entire world, apart from CS:GO, they should have like smoother.
well, you'd think, wouldn't you? This is the big
Yeah,
this is the big thing. It's like this is why a lot of like League players are just like on Twitter every day being like, "Lol, League client's so bad. When fixed? Like, when will it get fixed?" And like, there's never any confirmation or like ownership or acknowledgement of like any of the stuff on their side. So everyone's just like, "Oh, okay, they know this is a thing. They just don't care. They're gonna make money despite themselves. So meh, whatever." And they just sort of live with it, I guess.
And I suppose if they're branching out, doing like Valorant and Teamfight Tactics, maybe they haven't got the manpower or the funding to be able to. Well, no, they must have funding to be able to sort that issue out.
They have the funding for sure. Manpower, maybe not. They're probably spread pretty thin right now. But I mean, if that's the case, just hire more people, I guess.
Yeah, use your money.
Yeah, they definitely have enough of it. I think when the last time we did this, it was like, I think it was like Riot and like 2 or 3 other companies in gaming are part of like that $1 billion club. I think it's like Riot, Blizzard, Activision, and maybe, but yeah, like very exclusive club that they belong to, and yet they still have all of these server issues and these player complaints about other players and like all of this stuff. To be fair, they have launching this new initiative to sort of clamp down on the rampant toxicity within the League community.
Yeah, although that's not really a software issue. That's more of a...
No, it's not. But I mean, it's that kind of thing has been going on in League forever, and they're only now, like 10 years into the game's life, doing something about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, better late than never, right?
Yeah, but I suppose that kind of behaviour is going to like appear throughout any and every kind of community.
Yeah. I hear good things about some communities. I hear like really bad things about others. Like the League community is notorious for being terribly toxic. But like there are other communities that I hear are really good, like especially to like new players and stuff, like a lot of helpful players. Apparently the World of Warcraft community is pretty good. Which is kind of surprising, because World of Warcraft feels like it's the kind of game that would belong to the gaming elite, I guess.
Yeah. But then I suppose it then discourages new people to join, and I think that the kind of Warcraft world is a very community driven thing. Like you're helping each other, and it's like
yeah, exactly.
You go there to be whatever character you are in the world of Warcraft. But yeah, I don't think any single company hasn't had an issue.
No, absolutely not.
This. Oh my god! Imagine if Nintendo had Riot's issues.
I mean, they have always been a sort of family game driven company, so they were never going to have that kind of thing, because
I imagine their complaints are of a different nature.
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way: a lot of people online who are extremely, toxic or, hateful or whatever, they have the benefit of anonymity.
Yeah.
Like, you hide behind a username, so you say stuff that you may not necessarily would say out loud, but because you're hiding behind your, online persona, you feel more empowered to say this kind of thing.
Yeah, you get that mask of, I'm not talking like face to face to a person, I'm talking to a serial number.
Exactly. However, games like, Mario Party or Mario Kart or, those kind of like games that are required you to be face to face with people, a lot of Nintendo games like that, you're not going to be that way with people because you don't have that anonymity of like being online.
Yeah.
And when they don't have that, games like Pokemon and like they have like these online things, they have all these restrictions on their chat. See, their players can't be extremely toxic.
Yeah, but Mario Kart brings in its own special kind of blue shell rage.
Yeah, exactly. And it has that kind of thing, but
that's in a different kind of
it's not as...
It's a competitive kind of anger rather than a hateful,
Yeah.
rather than a hateful, toxic behavior.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have known throughout my entire like gaming career playing League of at least 10 people that I've played with that don't play anymore entirely because of the community. Like they refuse to play because the community is so hateful and they don't want to have to deal with that for their own benefit and for their own sake, which I totally respect. I totally get that. Like I have a pretty thick skin when it comes to that kind of thing. So I can just like brush it off or give it back as good as I get it. So it doesn't really bother me. But I know of other people that are just like, I don't want to have to deal with this every time I play, and so they don't play it anymore.
Yeah, I've had a couple of interactions like that on Siege, but it's still something I'll come back to.
Yeah.
And I've always been the type, if I've like encountered that kind of behavior, I'll just back out, join a different game where they're not there.
Yeah.
But there was a time where I did have to take an action against it and like
Yeah.
report them properly.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, sometimes you just have to.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't ignore it.
Yeah, for sure. There are certain things that you come up against, and there's like you can't let that slide.
Yeah.
Like that's horrific.
Ugh. People.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Mm.
So, still in the world of video games,
Mm-hmm.
there's been two more things. I think it's today that they both kick in.
Oh, okay.
Apex Legends is now going crossplay across like 5 different platforms now.
Okay.
So
Nice.
it's on. You can crossplay Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and 2 others. I can't remember what they are. It's probably Stadia and I don't know, the Microsoft Store.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which would be really, really nice to play on the computer now. But I don't know if like I'll be able to collect all my PlayStation unlocks on here. But it'd be nice to play on a
Yeah,
PC.
for sure. That's really cool.
And then we've got there's a Minecraft update as well that they've overhauled the Nether.
Okay.
I haven't quite read what they have changed within it because I kind of wanted it to be like a fresh experience. But I have seen that they redesigned or remade the zombie pigman because I've seen lots of like farewell memes on Reddit, like farewell and goodbye to the zombie pigman.
Interesting.
So that's definitely what I'm going to be doing for the next, like for this evening maybe.
Makes sense. I am. What am I doing this evening? I'm doing something. It's not The Last of Us 2. What am I doing this evening? I'm definitely doing something. I can't remember what. It doesn't matter. I'm going to take a quick break, grab a drink, and I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, what were we talking about?
We were talking about toxic people.
Oh yeah. As an extension of that, there is something I kind of want to touch on. I don't want to go too deep on it because it's one of those things that I am not nearly educated enough about to make good commentary about it. But I don't know if you've seen online. There's a lot of women coming forward about their experiences with like sexual assault and stuff in the gaming industry and in a lot of industries. Over the last several days, there's been like a lot of stories, like a lot of women coming out with what's happened to them, and some of them have been absolutely awful, like just awful things. And what I want to say about it is this: we are not that platform to, because we don't have a platform to give voice to that. But if you hear this, and this you may not echo the sentiment, but from me, believe women and the stories that they tell, and be better, because it's not, none of it is okay ever. And all of the stories that I've read over the last few days have been fucking harrowing, and I couldn't ever imagine going through that kind of thing. It's awful. So just, yeah, that is all I'm going to say on it, because I don't want to go deep on it, because I'm not educated enough to make a good commentary on it. Just that's all I wanted to touch. I just wanted to touch on it.
Yeah, that's okay. I agree as well. It's hard to have that kind of thing happen to you and have issues coming out and speaking out about it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all I wanted to do, was just touch on that and move on now to what else? There was something else I wanted to talk about, something a little bit more lighthearted.
I've got something.
Okay. No, you do your thing. I remember my thing. You do your thing first.
Okay. So there was the Trump rally a couple days ago.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah, and this is brilliant from the part of like the youth, like slash TikTok users slash whoever it was, whatever party it was fucking amazing. So what they did, Trump had this rally in
Tulsa,
Tulsa, Oklahoma, which has been a strong Republican seat for ages. Trump had reports that they had sold out or reserved like a shitload of seats. But when it came to the time of the rally, there was only like 18,000 people there.
Yeah,
like nowhere near packed out.
Yeah.
What had happened? So you could reserve these seats to this rally, but you didn't need to pay like there and then. You pay on the door. What a load of youth and like TikTok users had done, they'd spread this thing on TikTok, was they reserved shitloads of seats in their name and just not turned up.
Yeah. So it just threw the numbers into absolute chaos, and
yeah.
Oh man, I've never been quite so proud of the next like upcoming of the Gen Zs. Like as a millennial, never been quite so proud of the Gen Zs. Yeah. It was absolutely classic trolling.
Super move. Oh, that was just amazing.
Yeah, dude. I was in hysterics reading through all of that.
That was like a super like big glint of the Gen Z youth saying, no.
Yeah.
And denying his like tyrannical spread of misinformation.
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. Oh, I remember the things that I wanted to talk about. So moving away from gaming for a bit, I wanted to talk about how with the restrictions on certain things being sort of, eased and lessened, it's been announced recently that some of the shows on Netflix have has resumed or will start filming again.
I've seen The Witcher starting.
Yeah, that was the big one I wanted to talk about. Was The Witcher season 2 has been announced that they're going to start refilming. I think it's 2 weeks from now.
Well, that's pretty close.
Well, that's when they resume filming. The actual show won't come out until next year sometime.
Yeah, but it still gives them more time to post-product.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a big one. It also, I saw on one of the actors' Instagrams, I think, that the production for the next Jurassic World film has resumed.
Oh, okay.
which I'm a big fan of. Like, I know they're not as good as the old ones, but I love the Jurassic World films. I think they're great.
Yeah,
So,
I think the first one was good. I wasn't sure about the second one, but yeah, they're still good. It's still a good um, concept and awesome spectacle to see.
yeah. But sorry, I was just scrolling and I just seen the updated Minecraft stuff that you were talking about a second ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you tried Minecraft Dungeons? Just while I'm thinking about it.
No, I really, really want to,
Yeah,
but
apparently it's. You're gone. Gone.
yeah, I really, really want to, but I want to play it with someone
That's fair.
to like make it like a shared experience.
Yeah, for sure.
But I need to have a look at who's going to want to play and if we can cross play or what. See how we can do it.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I've wanted to play one of the like a dungeon crawler Diablo style kind of game for a long while now.
But yeah, there have been like a bunch of announcements for shows that have been cancelled, shows that have been um, renewed. Lucifer season 6 has been picked up by Netflix. So there's that.
Yeah, I saw that. Although I've not actually watched it. It's been again one of those highly rated TV series that I've still not watched.
Yeah, same. Oh,
Um,
actually, something got announced today. 20 years after its original release, there's going to be a sequel to Chicken Run.
oh, okay.
Yeah, that got. It's being done by Aardman again, obviously. But yeah, that got announced today. Apparently, Chicken Run movie sequel is coming to Netflix.
Oh my god, that's gonna be so cool.
Yeah.
Uh, I love Chicken Run. Chicken Run was like one of I like every Boxing Day, I would watch Chicken Run. For like became like a tradition. I don't know if like the rest of my family did it, but I did.
Fair enough.
I don't know why or how it became tradition, but it now is. But I love Aardman films. They're so good.
Hmm. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm just sort of scrolling through some stuff to see if there's any other big announcements.
Yeah.
Not that I can tell. Not really.
Hmm.
So,
Do you want to talk about the Reading thing?
I mean, a lot of it was sort of covered on the news, but like,
Yeah.
no one that I know was even there. So that's always a good thing, I guess. But yeah, it was awful. Obviously, like no denying, absolutely terrible thing. But yeah, like it's again the kind of thing that I feel like it's not really our like platform to talk about that kind of thing because we try and keep this as light and breezy as possible, but we can't avoid it. Like this is one of those things where it directly influences or affects our lives, and we can't avoid talking about it because we both at one time or another lived in and around Reading,
Yeah.
and I saw in the news, it was the craziest thing. I saw in the news them doing they were doing a vigil or like something like that, or like a remembrance thing at the Belgrave Arms, which is literally like round the corner from where I live. And I just kept like saying to my housemate, being like, I walk past there all the time, and obviously the attack happened on another section of the town, but I've been there. I've been to Forbury Gardens 1,000 times,
Yeah.
and it puts that into perspective. Like that could have, if that had been a different day, another life, like that could have been me,
Yeah.
and it really could have. And it's terrible. It's terrifying to think about.
It's one of those things because because these terror events happen in like what I feel like they almost happen in bigger named cities.
Yeah.
and you feel like a degree removed from it, because you may know of like London through like pictures and it being on TV and stuff, or Manchester through other means, but as this is in Reading, it's such a close and real
Yeah,
like shock.
yeah.
Like you
It
see it
really.
on TV and you know exactly where they are. You can see, oh, I've waited in that like park. We've had a few ciders in that park. We've yeah. You can visualize exactly where they are and what's going on.
It really takes it and puts things into perspective, and like it really. One of the things, right, that we're told is to stay safe, but it was such a random thing. It was
Yeah,
so out of the blue that you can't predict that kind of brutality. Like, you see it on the TV, like a lot of like the protests and riots and like all of the things that have broken really bad across the world. You can predict that those are going to end badly, and you can take measures to protect yourself in those circumstances, right?
yeah,
There are preventative measures you can take. This kind of thing is so different and so unpredictable that you can't have ever predicted that that would happen on that day in that place.
yeah. Like there was no no way you could have predicted it, and to like and to be safe from that would be to not go out, to not do anything, and you can't
Yeah,
not do that.
you can't live life in fear.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's awful, and I hate to think about having to go back there and live in that sort of perpetual state of, constantly looking over my shoulder, looking out for potential threats. But it
yeah.
it is one of those things that was just like it,
Like
you
you
can't
could,
help it.
yeah. Like you could live like the ultimate safe life and not go out and not do anything, but that's not really living.
Exactly.
Yeah, to live is to take chances. Well, I suppose that's probably a bad way to say it, to take chances.
But
Um,
to live is to not be in a bubble. You go out and you do stuff, and you should feel safe
yeah,
doing stuff. You shouldn't feel fear leaving your front door, because that's just not how life should be.
yeah. You shouldn't fear um, the next man. Like you should be able to feel at ease in your own hometown, in your own space.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a great shame that um, those three men lost their lives due to what
A,
appears to be
a,
a random
combi-
act of terrorism.
a combination of fundamentalism and a lot of mental health issues, by the sounds of it, just from what I've read in the reports.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's an awful, awful, awful shame.
yeah, and it like highlights like the amazing job our police do. Like the reports of the number of unarmed police officers that ran up and rugby tackled the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't know what I'd have done in that situation. I'm not gonna lie. If I'd have probably run,
Yeah,
because I'm
in that
very much a flighty person.
yeah, in that circumstance, absolutely, I am too. I would have run away, and that's not very courageous, but I'm not that, and I never have been, and I know my own nature well enough to know that I would have just run away.
Yeah, you shouldn't really know what you'd need to do in that situation.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that, but
But
it,
yeah, it is a like sad thing that happened. And yeah, our thoughts and condolences to the families and friends of those
Yeah.
that lost their lives in there.
Exactly that. To be honest, there's not a lot more I could add to what you've already said that would be genuine and impactful. So I think you said it best, and I think it's an awful thing that happened. But just look after each other, stay safe as best you can, and yeah, that's it, I guess. I don't necessarily want to end the show on such a dour note, but at the same time, it's been a really rough period of time, and not everything has to be sunshine and roses, because, you know, sometimes it pays to be insightful, and it is necessary to be honest about how shitty things are in the world right now. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the world that is awful. So maybe it's better to just, I don't know, maybe it's better to just have this episode as a pretty honest conversation about how things are, because, you know, things are changing fundamentally across the world. Things are changing, and we can't pretend like they're not, even if this isn't the right, you know, platform for those kind of discussions. Those kind of discussions should happen on a much more grandiose scale, but it's still our responsibility to accept and listen and learn, and use whatever privilege we have to make positive change, which is what I want, is what if I had a platform, I would want to use it for. And even if this is the most minute version of that, it still feels like a responsibility for myself. I don't know if you necessarily feel the same, and you don't have to, but for myself, not everything has to be a joke. Not everything has to be funny. Sometimes the real world is important, and it is an important thing to talk about.
Yeah, sometimes you need to be surrounded in darkness to understand and appreciate the light.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I think this is actually a pretty good place to end the show, and I'll leave with this final piece. Be better for yourself, be better to each other, and if you don't have the capacity to learn, have the capacity to just listen, because you'll find that just listening to what people have to say is sometimes even more important than anything you could possibly imagine. Thank you everyone for listening. This episode is not our usual kind of content, but it is an important conversation that has to happen. It needs to happen. And take time, if you can, please, to educate yourself about things that you may not necessarily think are important, but they absolutely are. And thank you for giving us even the smallest space to use our voice to bring light to these things in our perspective. If there's anything you want to add, Ben?
I don't know, I think you've summed it up incredibly well there. Alright, see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.